Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode with your boy, Christian. We're back over here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. And today is Thursday, and we are talking about the basketball news of the day. Dame Lillard is coming home, baby. So, Dame Lillard is going back. Just like I told y'all, I had this feeling, and I said, I think he's going to end up back in Portland because he wants to rehab at home, be around his kids and his family in Portland. And obviously, he's been with the Blazers pretty much his whole career, with the exception of the last 2 years that he went to Milwaukee. On personal news that has been kind of coming out, it's been that, it's not necessarily Milwaukee's fault, the city, but he's been unhappy there just because he hasn't been able to be around his kids. Obviously, stuff with basketball wasn't working out great. Then he gets injured. And even now to try to rehab, he wanted to rehab back in Portland. And I think Milwaukee didn't really want that. They wanted him to rehab in Milwaukee, which led to the buyout and everything that happened there. Now he gets to go home. Now he gets to go to Portland. Now he gets to tutor these young guys in Portland. And they are a young team, but people didn't really realize it because they were already pretty much out of contention. But they were playing pretty solid basketball towards the end of last year as a young team, which, kind of can get you into thinking like, all right, if they're young and playing better, then they're only going to keep improving. So, for Dame, I understand it. I don't think he's thinking they're going to win a championship this year, but it's a 3-year contract for $42 million. So, he's getting around, I guess, $14 million a year. Is my math right? Yeah, I think my math's right. And on top of that, obviously, he's getting the buyout money from Milwaukee. So he's going to be making great money. It's technically a team-friendly deal when you look at it that way, especially if he can, once he gets back from injury, if he can still be a good player for them. And he's around another veteran in Drew Holiday. And this year, even though he's not going to be playing probably for most of the season, he can help tutor those guys. And you never know. If these guys make a push for the playoffs and he gets right for the playoffs, we can have a little bit of Dame magic again. And speaking of Dame magic, I want to play this sequence from Game 5 of the playoff series between the Trailblazers and the Thunder. And this is this has got to be the best moment of the highlight of Dame's career. But it was definitely just, I was at this game and it was epic. And this is how it played out. So let's watch how it all turned out. Russell Westbrook still with the Thunder. Paul George. All right, so George gives them the lead, right? So, and the Thunder need this game. They're down 3-1 in the series. So, OKC at this point had just won. They were down 3-0 in this series, and had just won Game 4. Look at this shot by Dame. Incredible. Dame ties it up. So it's 115 all, and this is when it gets good. And obviously, like I said, the Thunder needed to win this game, try to bring it back to OKC. Dame had, did I just say 47? Let's look at this again. I did not realize. He had 47. So he ended up with a 50 piece even. So here we go. Westbrook. Nothing. 17 seconds left. Give it to Dame and get out the way. Here we go. Got it. Insane. That's a wrap. Goodbye, Thunder. And Portland advanced. And it was just incredible. What a scene in Portland. No, even the reporters, they don't know what's going on. It was crazy. So, pretty crazy moment. Again, I'm so excited that Dame's going back to that. Those fans in Portland love him. Obviously, he's got, a love for that organization. Yes, he got traded, but it was one of those weird trades where the team was pretty upfront about it being a rebuild, and they knew Dame was getting a little bit older. So it's almost like it worked out for everyone. It wasn't an ugly breakup. Even when he got traded, it was all love. You could feel it between the organization and him. It was mutual. Like, they understood which direction they were going and what they were trying to do. And Dame had been such a staple for Portland that, they wanted to do right by him. And it's one of those situations where I don't necessarily think the team owes it to a player to do right by them. It's business. It's it's a job. But whenever you can do right by the player, I think if it's not detrimental to your team, then I think you do it. And I think the trade was good for Portland. They got assets back. So it wasn't like they could have traded Dame for Anthony Edwards, but they wanted to do right by Dame and trade him to Milwaukee for Drew Holiday instead. Nah, that was probably one of the better offers they were going to get anyway. It worked out. Dame said he'd be all right with going with Milwaukee. So all in all, it'll be a fun reunion. And the one other thing I want to mention is if and when Dame gets back, this lineup, as it is right now for Portland, I think is pretty solid. And they have flexibility now with these contracts that they've gotten. Obviously, they get Drew Holiday this year again. They had traded him. They had traded for him when they traded Dame to Milwaukee. And then they flipped Drew to Boston at that time for picks and kind of rebuilt. And now this year, they retrade again for Drew Holiday. And sent Anthony Simons away to Boston, who he's still in Boston right now, but probably will get traded. Who knows how that will play out. But if you just look at this lineup, I mean, if it's Dame with Sheldon Sharp, with Tumani Kamara, who's great at playing defense, Denny Advia, Donovan Clingan, that's your starting five. Again, it's not – this isn't going to jump out to anyone, especially because Dame is older. But these guys without Dame and without Drew were playing solid basketball last year already. That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are young. They could get better. And then even their bench, if this is the lineup you're going to go with, I mean, Drew Holiday if that's your sixth man, that's a great sixth man. Don't forget about Scoot Henderson, who was the number 2 pick right behind after Wemby was drafted. Matisse Thybulle plays defense. Jeremy Grant is a solid player. And the guy I talked about recently, who I said the Blazers got a stud, is Yang Hansen. Don't forget, this guy's been balling in Summer League. And if he can develop into a little baby Jokic, you never know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he pushes himself into the starting lineup, which then obviously creates another question. What do you do with Donovan Clingan? Do you start both of them? But hey, the Thunder went double big a lot with Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. So I don't see why Portland can't do this with Yang Hansen and Donovan Clingan, especially with Hansen, the way he can spread the floor, he can shoot threes. So it is all very interesting. Good for Dame, good for Portland. It'll be a nice reunion. And ultimately, I'm sure the Portland fans are going to be just excited to see him back in the building. And once he gets healthy, that first game back will be an awesome moment, I'm sure, for that city and for Dame. He's very loved there. So I'm excited to see that. So congrats, Rip City. You got your man's back.